Hello stampers! I've got a cute little project for you today, and I wanted to show just how much better one of your scenes can be if you just add some shadows to your objects. And I'm going to show you how to do that today, and we're going to be using the Plentiful Plants stamp set from Stampin' Up. And there's a coordinating dies that are called Perfect Plants dies. And they have lots of dies to go along with those images. So we're going to be using these. We'll get started with our main image panel. I have all the dimensions for the card down below this video. Just click show more, and also all the links to the products are there, and you can order from me 24/7, and those links will take you right to my online store. So for our main panel, it's 3 by 4.75. And this is basic white, and we're going to start by masking. We're going to mask the bottom of the cardstock. I don't really measure, I just see what I can fit where. So I'm just using one post-it note here for my mask. There we go. I'll measure this for you. I got 2.5 inches up here unmasked. Okay. So we're going to start out with pumpkin pie and a blending brush, and we're going to blend all over the top of this panel. Okay, so I blended lightly over the entire unmasked area. Now I'm going to add some more, and I'm going to concentrate it right above the post-it note. I just want a little dark area here. This just adds some depth to your scene, like there's a shadow back there. Okay, so that was our pumpkin pie. Next, I'm going to take this post-it note off, and I'm going to add a new post-it note. I don't want to reuse that one because it has that pumpkin pie on it, and it will change my color for the next bit here. So I'm going to mask the pumpkin pie plus, I'm going to say 1/4 of an inch, a little over 1/4 of an inch of the white. So I have the pumpkin pie there, and then I have a bit of white masked here, about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so now we're going to use Bermuda Bay ink and a blending brush. We're going to do that same thing. We're going to blend this on, and then add some darker here at the post-it note edge. Okay, so that was Bermuda Bay. And now I'm going to take this off. And here's our little scene here going on. And now I'm going to stamp our pot. And I'm going to do that with Cajun Craze. And I want this pot really nice and dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it once, and then I'm going to stamp over that another time, and then even a third time, because I want this pot good and dark. So there's once. Go over it again. It's okay if you don't line it up exactly. There it is a third time. So that's pretty dark. Okay, so that was Cajun Craze. And I think when I have that color out, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment, because I want that Cajun Craze also. Just move right along here. So I'm going to add this right here below our pot. Here's our thank you. All right, we have those done. Now I'm going to do our plant part. I have old olive ink, and then I selected the 4-leaf image. So I'm going to stamp this on here. There we go. There's one. I want this also very dark, so I'm going to overstamp. There we go. So remember, you can darken your images just by re-stamping them over, and it's really pretty easy with these clear stamps. Okay, now I want to add my shadow. And I die cut, just out of a piece of scrap, I die cut the pot. That's one of those dies from the Perfect Plants die set. And then I die cut out of this also the die for that plant up there. And this is what we're going to use for our shadow. So I'm going to take it and line it up here with our pot. There we go, and I'm going to use Smoky Slate for this and a blending brush. And this will be our shadow. So there's our pot. And then we can do our plant, and it depends on how far down you came with your Post-it notice, how much of this plant you'll get on there. My original, I had quite a bit. So I think I'll straighten this out a bit, and then I'll just blend this in. Those dies are so fun to make your shadows with. So kind of think out of the box. What else can you do with those dies that you've purchased and get more use out of them just by adding shadows to things? So there is our shadow for our plant. And that was with Smoky Slate. And if you wanted a little darker, I noticed this isn't very dark down here. I'm going to line it back up and just add more color. I tend to do that after I make a scene. I'll give it a look. Do I need more color here? Do I need more color there? Remember, this is stamping, and you can take your time doing it because it's your projects. There, that's a little better. I really got that shadow in now. Okay, so now I want to make some highlights and things to the original plant. And I'm going to go ahead, and I've got a dark mossy meadow marker here, and I'm going to take the fine point part of it, and I'm going to draw a line down the left side of these plants here, the leaves. And the right side down these two leaves here. That just really draws them out. I'm also going to put a line just under the lip of that pot and do another line, and I think one more here just to make our pot kind of fancy with lines on it. And then I'm going to take a white gel pen. I love white gel pens. And I'm going to make the dots along the bottom of this pot. That's kind of fancy, right? And there are lines in this, in two of these leaves. So I'm going to add some lines going down. And this one here. That's kind of cute. And then add just a highlight. All right. So there is our finished panel. How cute is that? and it really gives you so much more depth and really makes it look like it's a painting just by adding shadows in. So keep that in mind when you're stamping your images. Can you put a shadow in? Most times you can, and sometimes you can take the image itself and stamp it upside down for a shadow. So a little more use to your stamps that way. Okay, so now we're going to start putting this together. I cut 2 panels that are Coastal Cabana, and they're 4 by 5.25. This is one for the outside, and then I put one on the inside of my card. There's a Cajun Craze card base that's 5.5 by 8.5, and when you fold it in half, it gives you your quarter card. So this outside panel of Coastal Cabana, I decided to cut a strip of Cajun Craze that's 2 1/4 by 5, and I adhered it to this panel. And now I'm going to add some ribbon. And this is Pool Party ribbon, and I love it. It's just so sheer. So although you're adding it to your card, it's not going to distract from your main panel, which I like, because you put a lot of work into that. You don't want to bulk it up with the ribbon and you won't be able to see your panel with it. So I'm going to just tack the ends to the back of my cardstock here with mini glue dots, and I just press that ribbon into the glue dot to make sure it holds well. These are really strong. Here we go. Flip it over, straighten it out. There we have it. Now this can go on the front of our card. Just going to adhere with multi-purpose glue. Center it up here. I like to flip things over and give them a rub. There we have it. And now we're going to add our, I'm just going to pop this up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I like to use lots of dimensionals on my projects. And I like to add enough to where I don't feel like my piece is going to like cave in when it's on my card. I like mine good and popped up. There we go. Now I have all my backs off of my Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm just going to adhere this to the card front. I don't want about a 1/16 of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch of that Cajun Craze showing around the side of the cardstock. And now I just need another piece of ribbon for my bow. Going to slide this under the ribbon we already have on there. Give it a good tie. And there's our little bow on here. Now our card's complete. So here's our cards, and I hope you're inspired by this project and that you give a try to put some shadows on some objects that you stamp. Thanks for joining me. Bye.